Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
We are inside the Loft 100 studios here in sunny Southern California. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching, we appreciate you being along for the ride. And it's like we like to say around these here parts sometimes.
No, we don't.
We do.
Howdy to ya.
I'm looking. Have you guys looked at the markets yet today? I'm looking at the stock market today.
Nope.
And it's because we're about to talk to Howie Font for a second here. But I think the month of September is always a very interesting month for stocks, and also October because of every
Halloween.
The first thing you look at when you wake up? Pull up the stock market?
No, because I'm up way before the market opens.
Oh, okay.
Market doesn't open until 6:30.
Do you have an alarm then set for?
No.
Okay.
That's interesting. Because Howie Font's here, our lead analyst from New York City. It's interesting because the market's open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific.
Okay.
And I don't know, Howie. We don't have to set an alarm for the market these days. We just kind of know it's when it's open. I look down, I oftentimes will be doing something going, is the market open yet? Like I'll see. I don't know. I check the time. In other words, that's how I know it's 6:30 a.m. The market's open. It's not the market opens at 6:30. I know it's 6:30 because the market's open.
Okay.
Right, Howie? Same sort of thing.
It's exactly that. I'm watching futures and stuff like that. I want to see what's happening right beforehand too. But no, definitely based on the amount of notifications I get on my phone, I know it's 9:30 and I know it's 4 o'clock and everything in between.
Well,
how many notifications do you get?
Oh wow!
I mean, I don't
hourly?
know,
Yeah, I mean
like
no, I probably
notifications?
get like 100 market notifications a day. Just saying, this is at this level. This is at this level.
Yeah, just because we're just.
Yeah,
it's like when you are watching sports.
Yep.
For example, you got several teams at the same time. It's just data. You know what? Misconception month is September, right? Don't you think? I think there is a.
What's this term, shibboleth?
Misconception?
I've never heard of that word in my life.
Oh, a shibboleth? No, I mean it's kind of like a false way.
It's a good thing. When people believe one thing that's inaccurate, that's so inaccurate, like if you spray Windex on it, your elbow's going to be fixed.
I think he was an Old Testament rabbi, wasn't he?
That's what I'm like. What is
Shibboleth? Yeah, he's the fourth. He was the fourth book of the Bible that got cut out because you know what? It was crap.
Shibboleth, you're terrible. Get out of here.
It was
the Bible needed notes.
It was inaccurate, so they thought
something new.
Yeah, but there is a misconception. September is always the worst month for stocks.
Well, it's what's true of the average is not true of any individual point a lot of times, and people confuse that, right? So, the market averages a return. The S&P averages a 10% return over the last 70 years. Fine. How many times has the market returned 10% exactly? I think like 3 years. It's either really high above or really below, but that's the average. On average, September tends to be the worst performing month, but is that real? I mean, I have a case for and against that we. Well,
hold on to that for when we come back. But I guess my question would be, why are more people selling stock in September, right?
Yeah.
And I've got a couple ideas myself. One note that you should probably pay attention to is that summer's over. People are back to work.
Kids go to college.
Back to school.
I mean, maybe there's vacations
and people
to pay
are back
for.
to work. They're focusing. Yeah, it's a real factor.
All right, stay there for a second.
Big Biz Show market analyst Howie Font. Lots more to come, so keep it right here as the Big Biz Show continues right after this.
Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
Big Biz Show rolls on. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. Always appreciate you being along for the ride. That's a Day Trader Quattro. We get to sit here and listen to him every single episode of The Big Biz. And back here at the bar, it is customary for Godwin and Sully.
Hey, Howie Font's here from New York City, talking to us about September. So my thought is, if September is the worst month for stocks, then you would have to come up with an idea of why people are selling more. Because once again, as we like to say in this program and in real life, is the only reason the stock goes down is more selling than buying. So here's the only reason stock. Now there's a million reasons that you would buy or sell, but there's only one way that the cause is more selling. So Howie, what's your case for and against on this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think that's a really good point. You can be, if your only thought is up or down and it goes up, then you think you're right for some reason. That's not a good system of thinking. You need to apply magnitude, and I think it's going to go up 5% because X, Y, and Z. So first of all, having a thesis and then getting that trued out will help you think better, especially if you're looking at the markets all the time. So that being said, I'll do the pro case for the September. As we talked about, people are more focused. They're back from Labor Day. You have the actual managing directors in there looking at work for maybe the first time in a month or so. That is a real thing that happens at IBs. And then you see, there's economic factors. You're not spending as much if you're a retail consumer.
Christmas
summer's over.
Black Friday started.
Well, I was going to ask you, how much of this is people focused on? And Sully said it a while ago. The fact that boom, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Christmas, Hanukkah, all the holidays are right around the corner as well.
Yeah, I mean, so you're in between summer where you had a little vacation, you spent some money with the family, maybe a Disney World or something like that. Yep. And then Christmas starts on October 31st, I believe. And so that's spending.
Well, Black Friday used to be October. Black Friday starts in February.
Yeah.
These days. Howie, there's also a lot of historic decisions and data from the Fed Reserve this month.
That's
correct?
another good point. Yep.
Right.
So you have September is a Fed interest rate decision month. So we're expecting a rate cut. That'll be probably good for the market. So this year it's not going to be for the bull case, but having a meaningful amount of data that the Fed is watching, the employment data comes out in September, and the interest policy change happens in September. That's very important. So you have factors like that, and then you have people looking at their portfolios for the year saying, hey, let's rebalance. Big index funds, they have to do their rebalancing every quarter or every or biannually, and that's happening now. So that's kind of some market forces reasons why September might be.
What's interesting is the worst days in the market have happened, the worst single days have always happened in October. which is interesting. And October's been actually historically a pretty good month. It's there's a lot of market platitudes. Buying the rumor, selling the news, right? Is one of them. I think what's interesting here is, you've got a rebalancing effect happening in September that sometimes isn't realized by the retail markets until the following month. Because remember, institutions really drive the markets, not retail. When I say retail, I'm talking individual investors buying, $1,000 less than, let's say, $10,000 worth of stock. But those rebalancing things that we kind of glossed over a little bit, that's a big deal, Howie, when rebalancing portfolios, because we're going into, we only got 3 weeks to the fourth quarter. Can you believe that? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really really big deal. People should watch it. Hedge funds try to front run it all the time and see if they can make a little blip. I think there's Interactive Brokers is going to go in the S&P 500, so that is going to
Interactive Brokers, talk about who that is, Howie, for people who don't understand.
Yeah, Interactive Brokers is just a trading platform, a trading firm. I mean, there are a lot.
It's like a TD Ameritrade. It's like a
this
like
is
the
not
old E-Trade.
Their kind that's in the S&P, but it is meaningful. So one stock gets kicked out, I forget who, Interactive Brokers is going in. That rebalancing happens on a certain date at a certain time, especially if they're passive funds. Those happen in October. But more active funds and big institutional investors are starting that process now. So that's the force that we're talking about.
What's interesting is Interactive Brokers reminds me of DraftKings in terms of when they first started. I was dealing with Interactive Brokers back in 2013 as a little fledgling e-only trading platform that you couldn't really talk to many people there. Everything had to be done online, and it's really become a juggernaut in terms of how trades are done and such. I remember there was a back office person there because I held some stock there, and the stock was held in what's called book form. In other words, actually it was held in cert form. I actually had a stock certificate, and it was held in safekeeping because it was restricted stock. During the time,
made of stone, and they used a chisel to put your name.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The stock was worth X when I put it in there as a cert, but the stock had lost some value. Okay. There was a back office person, and this is how young this company was. The back office personnel, Howie will tell you because he's worked at investment banks. Back office people are pretty sharp on how the trading markets work. Back then, they were just trying to get people in there. The person thought that I owed them money because my restricted stock that I couldn't trade went down in value.
Oh my God.
And took it all the way to I'm gonna have our legal counsel because you owe us. Legal counsel said, Mr. Sullivan, sorry, we'd like to offer you free trading for the next 6 months. But that was it was a fledgling small. But what's interesting is the platform, which sort of was like Bitly for digital currency, has really taken over as I think that almost every broker is going to turn into an interactive broker. It's really E-Trade 2.0, don't you think, Howie?
Yeah, they certainly will want an all digital platform. So the difference here in this market is you either have a traditional stockbroker. This is a guy you call, a guy you know, a guy you talk to. He handles everything for you. A lot of stuff is done on the phone, and he's executing trades. Whereas people want things in app form now. They want things in digital form now. So it is hard to get someone on the phone at an interactive broker or an E-Trade or something like that. So that's the downside. You don't get a human touch or someone walking you through more complex things like, pulling the tablet that Sully used to book.
The chisel.
Yeah. Howie, the great scene from the movie Trading Places when Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy go to the floor of the stock exchange, and it's just total chaos.
It was a short squeeze. Yeah. You were witnessing a short squeeze.
Orange juice futures. You think we'll ever get to the point though where we will not have that chaos literally physically on the floor of the stock exchange?
No, we don't have that anymore. Yeah,
okay.
It's not like that. I mean, those are coveted spaces. I think people still have large desks there, but it's kind of moved away. I mean,
it's just not necessary with the.
No one's going to pay a premium for that space anymore, and we don't execute in that way. It's all done by algorithms and computers.
Yeah, we're not. There isn't somebody calling in an order down to the floor who's actually bid and asking.
That floor was them negotiating. I mean, and now that all is turned into a computer process. It took too long, in my opinion.
And those were market makers on the floor there that were taking this. If the stock was trading by 2 by 220, they were taking the spread And that's why when you buy a stock and sell a stock, there's a little gap in between there. Howie, I think the moral of the story here is that you can't ignore market dynamics. You can't ignore monetary policy influence. You can't ignore the 50,000 foot view just because of September, right?
Yeah, one of the reasons we're talking about this is I want to start making a point of there's so many indicators, don't buy stocks on Thursday nights. I don't know.
The Santa Claus rally.
The Santa Claus rally, yeah. And some are good, some are bad, none are perfect. And this is a big one. September is the worst month in the market of the year. And I want to go through some of these indicators as we have.
Yeah, I want you to poo-poo the, because anyway, it comes down to is me and Howie take a dart, we throw it at the Wall Street Journal. Probably more accurate than some of these indicators, right, Howie?
Big Biz Show market analyst Howie Font. Howie's always appreciated. All right, you out there in TV and radio land, don't go anywhere. Much more to come with the show. Show rolls on live from the Loft 100 studios here, sunny Southern California. Day Trader Quattro on stage back here at the bar. Costa, Maribor Godwin, and Sully.
That's right. We are brought to you by Prudential. Prudential is your rock for retirement. Also, bigger advance, better science, better results. Starbucks coffee. I'm hopped up on some right now. Lumen Brands, their fine family of restaurants. Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bonefish Grill, and Outback Steakhouse, and of course, Taylor Guitars. Who's got coming up next there, buddy?
Les Borsai, co-founder of Wave Digital Assets. Their website is wavegp.com. Les, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, let's talk about the misnomer that September's the worst month for stocks. I mean, it is somewhat, but I think you don't want to ignore market dynamics. You don't want to ignore monetary policy during the month of September. And boy, there is the Senate Banking Committee has got a lot of new market rules they want to change. Talk about that. Bring us front and center to the folks that aren't really following this every day.
Well, I mean, I think it started in January with this new administration. Obviously, they hit the ground running. They want to make America the crypto capital of the world. So, the first thing they did was an executive order. Then they followed up with a digital report, obviously passing of the Genius Act and Clarity and the anti-CBDC bill. And they're, making banking much easier for all the companies that got unbanked. And they're, moving forward to make the SEC, not be these guys that just enforce everything they can enforce and move innovation off this country. And I just said a lot of stuff in
no, I didn't say a lot of that was
a lot of stuff in about 5 minutes.
Well, listen, go ahead. What's interesting here, you should bring up crypto. I've argued that we are already in a digital currency because you've got the same $40 in your wallet like we do for the last 6 months. Unless you're tipping somebody, all of our money is is a number on a screen somewhere, and I think that's important to deal with. I think what's interesting is being the crypto capital of the world. In and of itself, having crypto means that there isn't a crypto capital of the world. It means that everybody's using the same currency. There is no fiat currency, and basically it's fraud proof if we're talking about using the infrastructure, otherwise known as blockchain. So what I want to know though is one of the biggest issues with this digital currency, and let's just call it, let's say Bitcoin, for example. And I know that when I think of Bitcoin, I'm thinking of it as an investment, not as a commerce tool. And that's the difference. When we want to say, give me a potato, I'm going to give you a Bitcoin, right? That's when it turns into a commerce tool. In the meantime, it's a commodity to me. It's like gold. It's like any other asset because it's used, in my opinion. Now, I realize there's people that accept Bitcoin. And our guest, Elon Goren, who Goren Holmes is a venture firm that actually invests with it and invests in companies that are surrounding it. How do we get to that point where adoption is currency? Because I think that's when we could actually take a bite out of it. Don't you think that's where the teeth come in? Don't you think, Les?
Well, I'm going to step back. You now said a lot of things. Alon used to work for us, so he's a great guy. So we know him well. The thing about it is you think about like the emergence of Bitcoin. It came right after the subprime meltdown. Yeah. And really, what it was about was trust and not having.
Right. You're exactly right.
Central institutions. But what's emerged since then is a lot of alternative tokens. You have tens of thousands of tokens that have different functionality. They have different underlying kind of approaches. So not all are commodities, not all are securities. And I think that's one of the big battles that the Senate Banking Committee is trying to figure out right now. Is the CFTC going to be the ones that govern this, or is it going to be the SEC? What's really interesting about digital currencies, even if you look at all the seizures that the federal government has and the states have, they don't know what they're seizing until they seize it. So you just have a vast array of different types of currencies out there. And you're right, Bitcoin is a commodity. It's a store of value. It's gold. But Ethereum isn't.
But let me ask you this: don't you think the real paradigm shift is when we start, as the adoption rate comes in with Johnny Lunchbucket and Cindy CEO, is using it as currency? I mean, isn't that when the real change happens?
I think the change has happened, and we just don't realize it. If you take a look at Tether and you take a look at, Circle,
but we're not, though. That's my point. Is average Joe Sixpack, we're not taking a look at Tether. You guys like you and Lon are. But I'm saying when the masses are, is what I'm talking about.
Well, so here's the answer to that. I mean, you see BlackRock, you see Citi, you see, Blackstone, you see the institutionals, start to deal with this, with all the ETFs that they're launching. Yeah. And that's how everyday Americans start to look at this. And when the debt market opens up, which is a $140 trillion market, and we see the integration of digital currencies into those debt instruments, then you're going to really see it open up. And the other caveat to that is it's global. I mean, it's always been global. Right. It's day one. So that's why hence
the audacity of the U.S. government thinking there's going to be the country of crypto when it really is a global panacea, correct?
Yeah, I mean, and that's really the big part about it is, while the SEC here was doing all the enforcement they were doing, look, it was thriving in UAE and Asia.
Let me on that subject real quick. Not to interrupt you, I have to ask you though: isn't regulation needed in terms of adoption? I mean, because I think isn't that really as much as we hate that regulation part of it and too much oversight, for us to trust it, we have to have it, correct?
We always wanted it. We were a registered investment advisor from day one in 2018. And we did the best we could to follow regulatory policy, first with California, then the SEC when we had enough AUM. So we always wanted regulation. It's the only way for it to adopt and to scale to what it is going to be. So yes, I agree with you 1,000% on that. There's just so much happening at once, so kind of catching your breath at this point where the acceleration of all of this out of Washington has literally impacted everything, including the way states are legislating. You take a look at New Hampshire and Arizona, the first states to have laws that say they can buy Bitcoin. So it's a really strange and exciting time.
Les Borsai is the co-founder of Wave Digital Assets. Their website is wavegp.com. Les, I'm throwing everything I own at the New World Liberty token, which is launching this week. Is that sound investment action on my part?
I mean, I'll throw the question back at you. I mean, I'll throw all my money at every stock I've never done any research on. Is that a sound investment?
well played, Les. Well played. Les, we want to have you on more and more. And next time you're in San Diego, you're more than welcome. This fantastic stuff. His name,
Les Borsai, co-founder of Wave Digital Assets. Website is wavegp, P as in Peter.com. All right, don't go anywhere. Plenty more to come on this here program. Back after this. are here in sunny Southern California, inside the Loft 100 studios. Thanks for being with us today. That is the Day Trader Quattro, DTC. Back here at the bar, Costa, Mary Bert Godwin, and of course, Sully.
I have a question. Have you guys discovered the? Do you guys ever use Pandora?
I used to.
And the idea behind Pandora was if you liked a song or an artist, it would play like songs and like artists.
Yes.
And you can find Sullivan music on Pandora and everywhere else you find music. But you can do combos now. Like I can put Andrea Bocelli and Stevie Wonder.
Oh my.
Okay, which is some fantastic. It's just the stuff that comes out. I got stuck on a couple channels recently that I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I got to tell you, I'm not mad at the ABBA channel because there's not that much ABBA music on it.
ABBA is so freaking good.
It's not that much. But I'll tell you. Can I tell you the new one? And James has played with her before. The Anita Baker channel is perhaps the best channel on Pandora. I mean, it's because she is the Michael McDonald of. She's a Michael McDonald of female singers, is she not, James? I mean, she's got that lilt.
Did you hear that mashup that they did with her? Where
Yeah, I did.
Took her songs and did the Michael McDonald.
Did they really?
Amazing. Hilarious.
No, I didn't. Anyway, I love it. But I don't know how I got on that. I think we were going to talk to Corey about AI coming up here, and I started thinking, boy, if I could like mash up, like let's say The Alarm and Pavarotti or Blink 182.
Oh my Lord.
And Dean Martin.
Why not? Someone's got to do it.
The same attitude at a different time, right?
Exactly.
Dean Martin was like, had a finger in a drink, and it's like, you know what? Blink 182.
Maybe it's cold outside.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Speaking of Corey Perlman.
Corey Perlman is the social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media, Inc. He is our social media expert. We go to him with all things social media. Corey, great to have you back on the show. How you been, my friend?
I've been great, and I too listen to Pandora, Sully, even though most people under 40 don't anymore. But
I swear, it's the reason. Look at we're heavily on Spotify and we're on all music platforms.
Sure.
The Pandora thing makes me happy because now I can mash up different artists. And like, can you imagine Andrea Bocelli and Stevie Wonder? I mean,
awesome.
some of the greatest songs come out of that playlist. We were just talking to Steve Wiseman yesterday, the scam man who wrote the Bruce About Avoiding Scams at scamicide.com. And we talked about AI and how, man, I mean, everybody has been victim or at least exposed to something in AI. And I love how you put in your notes this week about the human test. Can you sniff out AI? Steve used to say, if you get an email from the IRS, it's a scam. IRS doesn't send email. If you have a misspelled word in an email, it's not usually a real email. If it's a grammatical error, it's probably from another country.
Or a blurry logo. That's the one that I'm noticing
the cut and paste.
Is a blurred out logo.
The problem is, and I was telling Mary this yesterday, because my daughter is on her honeymoon. I thought something looked different, so I expanded the picture, and I realized she had a filter on the photo. Well, if the filter on the photo, that looks like AI to me now. Because if you look at an AI picture, that it looks like it's generated. It's not real skin that you're looking at or real hair that you're looking at. So how do you do the human test? Is there best practices for this?
Yeah, I think they're saying the common, factors are the M-dash, which a lot of us like to still use. But if it's overly used, that's an obvious AI thing.
What's the M-dash? What is that?
It's the longer dash. This is in the caption.
Oh, the longer
right?
dash.
Yeah.
And in the body of the email, I mean, you'll notice, or anything that it writes, they love the M-dash, the long dash.
I use dashes all the time.
I love the M-dash. I'm so sad.
But I use the long one, though. I could never figure
That's the M-dash.
But I use like a regular dash instead of a comma.
Yes. Right? So they tend to overuse it. And emojis,
so do I.
I mean, they overuse emojis like you wouldn't believe. So that's an obvious way to sniff it out. And it's funny what you said, Sully, if it's too perfect. So you almost want to throw in a misspelling or even shortened word or something,
Yeah. I think, is there an outcome here where AI is going to be sort of the nemesis that the robocall was? Remember the robocall that we still get? I think that's sort of the danger here in just the sheer clutter that's coming across, where you need a burner phone and you need a personal phone, and you need one for work that's going to get all that stuff. How are we going to battle the next AI storm of wave that comes onto your phone that wastes your time?
Well, let me challenge your listeners with something that I have my team working on to avoid looking to AI, which is to sandwich your content with actual real personal content. So the first sentence and the last sentence has to be 0 AI and all you. And that in itself will help you avoid looking like you're too AI'd.
I think I just was thinking in terms of AI and what people are using it for. I mean, I've seen everything from employment letters to asking the bank for a loan to an opening day at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think people were doing? Hey, Perplexity. What's the win play show in the first race in Del Mar?
Oh my God!
There is no end to it. Is there a positive here, Corey? I mean, are you using AI to the positive for social? Is there?
Every single day.
Okay.
Sully. I mean, we love it to death. I mean, it's awesome. But when I open an email or I see a social media post and it starts out, in today's fast-changing world, something to that effect, you just know it's AI written. So if I were writing you an email, I'd say something like, "Hey man, it was so great talking to you guys yesterday, and it was on my brother's birthday. How cool is that?" AI can't create that. That's me, and that's what we got to do.
I was dating a gal named Casey, and I wrote her this: "Dear Carrie, I've appreciated our time together, but I think never dated anybody named Carrie." Dear Casey, the problem
Carrie.
Never dated a girl, but I just as you were talking about, I just typed in best way to break up with you via text, and because I had a great time with you, but I think it's best we part ways. Each one of them says best we part ways, best we part ways.
Exactly.
So then I just did the next one on how to fire somebody. I think our employment relationship is over. It's best we part ways. Now, see, I think your idea of identifying patterns in these things is the way to go. I think, and I don't know. The one thing that I always can't stand about text messaging, not email, so to speak, but text messaging, is the tone. You can't figure out
decipher tone.
And that, I think that makes for more.
Even when people use all caps, it used to be like, "Why are you yelling at me?" or "Why are you swearing at me?"
It still is.
But some people are just like, "Oh, he likes to type," or "She likes to text in all caps."
Except Sully does like to do all caps.
I don't do all. No, do you know what? I don't do all caps. Do you know what?
Why?
All of my contacts, I used to put in all caps.
Yeah.
So that's when it says, "Hey, brother!"
Yeah, it's like aggressive.
Exactly.
Hey, where's Mike? No, if you notice all the names.
I do notice.
Like I got brother Ray, James's brother in my phone. So every time I type brother, it says, "Hey, brother!" So the point is, I think we need to just ease up on some of this stuff because I would spend all my time editing. What are the takeaways here? Because I think I like the idea that you're using AI to maximize your interactions, and is that what they call them in social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to get ideas and generate ideas, and even creating graphics. It can help you.
But don't lean on it.
No, don't lean on it. You just need to use it as a tool, right? As a partner to help you brainstorm, help come up with things, and get an idea generated. Because we get stuck. I mean, I used to write captions all the time, and I was like, I can't write another caption about this hotel property. And
but there's nothing wrong with getting some ideas or getting some inspiration.
Yeah,
right.
But then you have to personalize it, like you were saying, Corey.
You're absolutely correct. And the only thing I would say in addition to that is we don't use it as a partner. We use it as a first-year intern. Very, very careful. Do not let anything go out without your personal.
I love that.
Handhold that thing. Absolutely.
And it's best that we part ways.
Best we part ways. Yes. Yes. That is not something you would say, Sully.
Oh my God.
You talk about casual AI use and heavy reliance. Is that what you mean by that? You make sure that your beginning and end it's a way to merge the two together here?
Yes, let it create 80% of the content and you add the 20% and make sure it's uniquely yours, and you shouldn't have an issue with overusing AI.
Corey, you're the guy that you're going to know this, but you know the next thing up is going to be when Instagram and Facebook and the others start banning the use of AI to create content. They're going to have some sort of filter, or at least controlling it,
or make you use like hashtag AI, like they do.
You think that's coming? And why would they do that, other than for scam purposes? But you know it's coming. Some type of control.
What I don't love, Corey, is how the AI is reading the caption and telling the other viewer what they think the post is about. Have you seen that? Because they've gotten it wrong.
The preview,
many times.
Like the email preview.
That kind of bugs me.
Yes. And Google's doing that as well. Yes, and half the time it's inaccurate. So it's still a very newbie intern. But no, Sully, I don't think that they're going to put parameters on it because they're profit first.
Right.
And that's where
Creating
the
more
world
content.
is going. Yeah.
Well, it would just seem to me that life would be better if I could just ask Perplexity to do it for me, and I just wouldn't have to be here to.
Well, it begs the question: are we raising that, generation that their necks are going to be like this because they're looking at their phones
But wait a
and
second.
they're just plugging ChatGPT?
Listen, we got all our stuff from encyclopedias in the library.
Right.
This is just a faster encyclopedia library.
Wait, the internet's going to break today, though, because of Travis and Taylor. So,
Oh, God.
Thanks, posting anything.
Corey Perlman, social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media Inc., CoreyPerlman.com, ImpactSocialMedia.com as well. Check him out. A lot of great stuff there. A lot of great stuff here, too. We're back after this. Big Biz Show rolls on. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we are inside the Loft 100 studios in sunny, kind of hot Southern California. Speaking of hot, day trader Quattro back here at the bar. Costa, Mary Godwin, and Sully.
Can you name the artist? Billy Preston. We'll go around in circles, right?
Dang it!
There you go.
I almost said Billy Ocean.
I almost said Stevie Wonder.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, you can see that. Who do we got coming up?
That's what
Joining us right now. I'm sorry, Mary wasn't done with the song yet.
No, I like to sing. Where's the microphone? Just kidding. No.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Do not threaten us with a good time.
Come on. Ardes Johnson.
That's exactly what she was thinking.
Well, Mike sings.
She was thinking about I Wish. All right, here we go.
Ardes Johnson, CEO of NeoVolta. Their ticker symbol is NEOV. He joins us here on the Big Biz Show. Ardes, how you doing?
I got to tell you, great to see you, Ardes. And he was here in studio last night. I got to tell you, the biggest issue I've always had with alternative energy sources, including wind and solar, is storage. And and if I'm not mistaken, Germany was leading the league, to use Mike's parlance, in solar energy for many years, and sort of had that storage thing figured out. But Ardes, you guys are in that business. Talk about that, because I think that NeoVolta is having a lot of success as a result of the fact that people are realizing that without storage, you got nothing going there.
Yeah, quite frankly, when you think about storage, you tend to want to couple it with renewables, wind, solar, intermittent sources of generation. But the reality is storage is now being deployed as an asset in homes and businesses with or without renewables. And the reality is that you can utilize the time value of that energy via energy storage for a lot of things: time use of energy, for demand shaping for businesses, arbitrage for the customer. There's a lot of reasons to do that, but you couple it with your own generation source, such as renewable, it only amplifies the value of the storage.
Well, let me tell you how that relates to dollars and cents for you at home. If you are doing it right with the right company, you can actually get a check back from your local electricity company because you're putting power back on the grid because of the storage side of it. So tell us why you guys are having so much success. I think this is important.
Yeah, I think the key is to understanding that market. Costs have come down a lot, right? So costs are down in a way that it makes sense for customers, but there's something more to it than just a dollar and cents return on investment piece of it. There's the security of having the knowledge of having power in times of outages. Mm-hmm. There's also the ability for the grid to take advantage of it. You can participate in programs, they call them virtual peaker plants or virtual power plants, VPP programs. These are things that consumers are participating today, right now in states like California and Texas. They're getting, as you said, they're getting paychecks at the end of the month, reduction off their energy bill by just participating. And you also have an asset that's an insurance policy in your home for those times when power does go out.
Ardes Johnson is the CEO of NeoVolta, their ticker symbol NEOV. Ardes, I just read where Elon Musk said something about China and their solar push. Are they also trying to, I get, as Sully said, lead the league as far as storage is concerned as well?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt when you think about any type of manufacturing today, China is quite frankly leading the way, right? We're trying to do a lot here in the U.S. And outside of China to what we call onshoring manufacturing. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that 95% of all energy storage is produced, or batteries, if you want to think about it in that form or fashion, has really been produced in China proper. And it's starting to get out. We're starting to put factories here in the U.S. that are going to be used for not just things applications that I need it for stationary storage, but also for electric vehicles and other applications. But the reality is China has made a strategic decision both on the renewables and the energy storage to make it one of their strategic things that they're going after. And it's our job to try to fight that off a little bit. And we work with the government and the legislation that's being passed and what's put in front of us, but also just having the ability to onshore here in the U.S. There are many customers who are willing to pay what I'd call the little bit of premium that does come with something that's made in the U.S.
Hey, what's interesting here, Ardes, by the way, publicly traded company, NeoV is the stock symbol of NeoVolta. NeoV is the ticker. It's if you think in terms of residential storage, okay, that changes everything. And I'm not just talking about EVs here. I'm talking about the ability to, there's places like San Diego, California, whereby it's a balmy, sweltering 72 degrees today, where we don't have to really concern ourselves as much with energy storage as you would in other parts of the country. But we are the anomaly here. If you think in terms of addressable market for residential storage, the numbers become sort of astounding in terms of billions of dollars of market share. Correct?
Yeah, it's growing. To give you kind of a comparison, 2 years ago, you could say 100,000 homes put in energy storage. Last year it was 200. This year 300, going up to 500,000 homes per year are going to add.
Per year?
Oh my God. Per year. And you made a great example. You used beautiful San Diego. Love it when I get to come there all the time. Our headquarters is right there, just north of San Diego in Poway. So I spend a lot of time in that area. What I'll tell you, though, is even with great temperatures and weather like that, the grid, if you speak to the utility, the grid is under so much constraint that they need relief and support. So putting energy storage in homes and in businesses in that area actually supports the utilities' need to reduce their demand.
Well, so this reduces blackouts, brownouts, and in our area here, you may be watching us in an area you have hurricanes or tornadoes, or we have earthquake season, but we actually have earthquake season is 365. We have fire season coming up. And that's when it gets painfully dry here. And all of a sudden, we see brownouts for safety, because what the fire department's worried about, and CAL FIRE specifically is worried about, is down power lines. If you've got storage, does that mitigate that problem a little bit? I mean, I personally have a generator that if the power goes out, I can still run minimal operations at the house and stuff like that. But does energy storage mitigate that issue for homes that are suffering from brownouts and blackouts?
Yeah, it really does. And I'll tell you, if you think about it, the evolution of energy storage, about 5 years ago, you might make the argument that it's a little tight in terms of how long the energy storage, because you think about it, batteries, they deplete. Everyone understands that. But the truth of the matter is, in today's technology, we're putting in storage in homes in California that would probably give you 2 days of power if you needed it. And if you managed it correctly, it could probably give you 3 to 4 days. So the reality is you can set it and forget it. A generator, you need to run, you need to do some testing on it. I understand that. I'm not saying that people don't need generators or not getting generators, but the reality is
it gets you off the grid without getting off the grid.
That's right. That's right. It gets you off the grid without getting off the grid. And a poignant story on the fires that happened last year where it took out our batteries were in actually some of those homes that burned down, and at the end of the day, I can go find a picture. Our battery was still standing there. So when people think about batteries as fire risk, but the truth of the matter is lithium iron phosphate, which is our technology, is something that doesn't really get our fires.
Always amazing stuff, Ardes Johnson, CEO, NeoVolta, ticker symbol NEOV, website neovolta.com. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Big Biz Show. As always, to everybody out there for tuning in and being along for the wacky ride, we thank you. We'll see you next time.